Yes, comics are doing it rough. Now, we are going to dig into the reasons why that is. And, it's ironic because a lot of times, especially in our shadow, we firmly believe that we are going through such a terrible time. And it's not to say that we're not, but sometimes we can, within the path, observe it that the other guy, the other individual, has it easy. And we're to kind of going to break that myth here right now today, especially from a personal point of view. I've actually gone through such. I could probably pull from several memories. Oh, yeah, and the revelation was I had to giggle to myself at one point in time because for so long I directly thought, "Good grief, this person." They're getting all the goods, and here I am having constant towers. And it was just in one moment I had this perspective, and it totally shifted. And it was like, well, whatever's going on with them, if their intolerance of it and don't choose to evolve, well, that is where they're going to spiritually feel stuck, and then therefore we outgrow those cycles, and especially individuals that fall into karmic relationships also do. So um, there was both sadness and empathy that came through at the same time. It's quite a perplexing feeling, but we are going to get into it now. As we do need to give you some updates, and I do want to give you guys some tips through this process, and I do tend to put them inside the updates. The things to know is that, yes, here at Yildiz Readings, we do want to give you the support that you need, and it is a top priority to us in viewing any of the content, either online or via our platform here at Yildiz Readings 5D. So, first thing to note, if you are cross-watching or you are an individual connecting to these updates, make sure that your vibration is in a good place. If it's not, save it to a watch later folder. We do have those on YouTube. And decide if you are viewing this or if you are feeling it's going to cause issues for you. You have some personal power. Observe it later. And, sometimes even in the shadow, we can actually look at it and say, hey, what is this showing me in the context? But, get really know that this is key for caring for yourself during this time. And there are support systems out there. Now, as to the support systems, there's Better Health Online. We do have bookings online as well. And, through social media, we do need to care for our vibration. So it could be, really getting into a spiritual practice of, taking time out, connecting with earth, doing some meditation, and, really prioritizing ourselves for a moment when we're having those triggers so that we can directly get to a space where we are prioritizing ourselves, and we're then going to be able to decipher between reality and delusion and be grounded and not go into that spiral energy, which hopefully the education content coming soon is going to aid and support that process. Separately, we do have to, by law, state that we do not provide psychological, medical, or financial advice online. Let's take a look at this update, as it is looking pretty interesting. Okay, so we have the first creating energy was something that really came through, and I had to really sit there and look at all the cards together. Look, the laws of attraction are very unique. And initially, this read kind of comes off as, wow, this is a very hunky dory connection. This is a very hunky dory kind of, yeah, let's just leave it at that. The rest of the cards tell an incredibly different story. And again, we do need to understand the perception. We also may and can use the transits this month to dictate how some of these energies are playing out, especially the synchronicities matching within the cards. A couple of things is that, we have Pluto retrograde, we have Saturn in Aries, and with those things, especially with Neptune and Aries, it's like going from Pisces to Aries. Perception can be distorted. Perception can be overwhelming because it's suddenly, oh my gosh, how have I been seeing this circumstance? So it can feel quite hard, okay? It can feel difficult. Now, we have the highest octane of what we desire. And for this person, it is Being able to have power and attracting, very Scorpio in nature. How can I attract this? But we have to be careful what we attract. Sometimes what we can attract is lessons. And, like the laws of attraction, what we vibrate, we connect to. So what we vibrate, we attract. And it is there for a deeper purpose. We just may not see it as that at the point in time. These individuals this week, there's a lot of cards in the reverse. I mean, let's have a look. What do we have in the upright? We have one physical card in the crowning energy and one on the foundation, just before the outcome card. So what do we make of this? Top row. Again, I do not feel this person is enjoying the life they're living right now. I feel they're finding it quite panicky. I get this panic vibration. I get a feeling of feeling quite overwhelmed. Some of them have actually been ushered out of the connection, or they do feel that they have no power and it's a stark reality. And I think, for a lot of us, it's this reality that we can't control life. There are some things we can, there's some things we can't. We can't control the sun. We can't control the moon. We can't control the oceans. But, technology and innovation, we desire to. But there is this limitation energy, very Saturn in nature. And this individual here, especially this week, is really struggling with those perceptions that they do not actually have control over circumstances. For some, it can be that they're trapped and they don't know how to get out of the circumstance. For some, it's almost like they don't have power, whether somebody stays or goes. And, are they coming to terms with that? I feel they're ignoring it. I do feel they're not even in this awareness of how they directly have been attracting this in. And there's big questions around, they love me not. We get the daisy here and almost the metaphor of pulling a flower to pieces. That was something quite beautiful initially, but when it is beautiful, we're probably not doing that. We're probably not sitting there meditating upon that process and pulling each flower petal off, to ask that direct question and get those signs and synchronicities from universe, because we're in that vibration. We attract that vibration. This person is feeling non-graced, non-blessed, quite triggered in this state of victim consciousness, and they really have fixed so much attention on this one area of life. The rest of the energy around them feels like it's actually falling down and they're not even paying attention to it. So it does feel quite codependent to a degree, but it also feels some other problems can start eventuating because the fixation and obsession upon the situation is quite, it's engrossing them. It really is engrossing them. They're getting quite stuck in the past. This trigger could have come from a previous situation. Now, I don't know why I'm hearing Nightmare on Elm Street. They don't feel that life is going in the... There was a lesson they were supposed to learn. They are not seeing things from a realistic perspective. I feel somehow it's cognitively, how do I express it? I'm noticing the green on the kettle. I'm noticing the interpretation on the card, and it's stating, and this card's in reverse, grounding, returning to reality, coming home. Now, I did mention Neptune, okay? Pisces over to Aries. Saturn is there, almost putting that crushing effect to have to be responsible for such. And so deciphering, you'd be forgiven if you had been mincing your words and you were forgetting certain things or wanting to say something and it came out absolutely a blur. It didn't make any sense because we're having this kind of integration going on. This individual here, where it comes to beliefs, justice, spiritual value systems, where they feel they're seeing the perspective of this connection correctly in their future and where they're moving forward and what they need to address and how they need to address it. And even the tone and the attitude and the maturity, it's almost forcing them to go through this assimilation, and they're not loving it. Okay. Is it for love? For some, it may not be. For some, it could just very well be that it's an extremely codependent relationship. And they're very, very shocked. Okay. We get the shock of the new here. And it's very like it feels like a pressure on my chest just tuning into it. It's disgusting. It feels horrible. Take a breath. They're having a panic attack. Okay. They're like, and I'm noticing in the throat chakra, this is the only card in the upright. They're going through assimilation, and this whole assimilation has caused a blur for them where everything in their life is upside down. And suddenly, the only card that's in the upright is so noisy, so overwhelming. Oh my gosh, I have to move forward. And it's impacting their wellness, it's impacting their vibration. And, even to address it, it's almost like they're trying to shut it down. They're trying to slow things down. They haven't even been able to come up for air yet to go, okay, this is a rebirth here. It is literally a shock of the new. I do feel these individuals this week are really going to struggle, and potentially there can be some tower moments coming through. If you do need any of our links, they are directly below. Everything we offer, everything will be updated very soon down below. However, it is all linking down there for you. Down to our Sage in a Circle network, our website, our YouTube links, bookings, you name it, we have it. Now, as to personal bookings, we do host the Twin Flame content online, education content. Because Saturn's there, I'm going to be brutally honest. It is going to be slow in a sense that in developing it, getting the templates done, and everything I want to create for our YouTube collective, as well as for our Sage in a Circle network, is going to be created. But at the moment, if you're needing that added support inside your path, we can get it through the website or by joining our wait list for our membership. Our membership does provide a private room in there for the Twin Flame Collective where I chime in daily. We connect, we laugh, we cry, we do all those things we need to do in there and give you any guidance, especially connecting to the fact that, yes, I am a twin flame and I have lived it. Thank you for joining, and don't forget to watch the Masculine, Feminine and Karmic Third Party Week. Otherwise, if you are new, a very warm welcome, and I hope you'll subscribe.